11th year anniversary in January. So I would consider myself a veteran of the restaurant industry, which is really not that glamorous, but it's very functional in the United States of America. But I do enjoy it very much. We definitely serve the need for the Americans, people. And Darden is really a great company to work for. I would recommend, the thought process behind your future as far as everybody doesn't want the restaurant industry. I'm just going to pitch that here for a little bit. But if you're not going to be an entrepreneur in the United States, it's conjecture here. So that's opinion without fact. If you're not going to be an entrepreneur and want to run your own business or run your own restaurant, I highly recommend that you get with somebody who is successful. So there is no shame in working for larger companies and whatnot. That is where the predominant number of people are growing and maintaining wealth in the current society right now. And Darden is the largest casual dining company in the world. We've got 8 brands. Ashik, is that we up and running, my friend?
I'm trying to fix that.
That's cool.
In the meantime, Jason, maybe Laura can tell us a little bit about, she is a graduate of this program. And she's done pretty well for herself. So maybe you can, you did mention you graduated several years ago. What have you done before and after?
Well, before then, restaurant I got out of for a little while, came back to it. I've been with Longhorn for, it'll be 6 years in January. So I started off there as a server, moved into bartending, started with the school here. They offer a program to where you can be a service professional or a culinary professional, whichever side that you choose from. So I got to move into the service professional program. So they did a little bit of reports, things like that, background that way, but kind of being in that manager role to get you used to it, make sure that that's what you want. Best thing about the company is they offer continuous feedback and they want you to excel. So there's several opportunities to move up within the company. So I actually graduated on Saturday, got promoted that Tuesday, believe it or not. Had been in talks with them. We've been coming to the school for a while, or should they have been. Today's my first day back into the school. But so talking to them, talent acquisition manager, at the end of the semester, they will be here on campus. She's great. Go and talk to her. She'll let you know about all the different programs and things like that. So anyways, I've been in talks with them and got promoted. My training was about 9 weeks or so, about 9 weeks, and then I went out to our South Haven location, took over this bar SA. We have 3 different categories of management underneath your GM or MP, depending on which part of Darden you work for, it's that. So I went out there as the bar SA manager, moved into the service manager role out in South Haven.
So what do you do? What are some of your responsibilities, bar SA? What
Well,
does SA mean?
Service assistant. So it's very similar to a host. So they obviously are doing the greeter. They have 4 different roles. They're leader, so they're answering the phones, directing where we want things to go. You've got your greeter, the one that face that you see, that smiling face when you walk into a restaurant that you always want to see. You got your seater, so they're gonna be the one taking you to your table, trying to be personalized with you, kind of get to know you on that personal level. And then your bussers, and obviously your bussers are people that are bussing and communicating with the leader in the front, so you know kind of what's available in the restaurant, how long it's been there. And on the bar aspect, you get to do obviously your ordering, your inventory, and a big huge thing right now is to-goes. To-goes everywhere. I think we're up as a company-wide, how much?
Yeah, 2020. The greatest vector of growth in the casual dining industry as far as restaurants go is to go. That's a big thing.
So we have our fair program that we're currently working on, which is focusing on these to-go orders being fast, accurate, ready on time, and executing it properly. So that's a big thing for us right now as well. After that, I moved into service manager position out there in South Haven. And obviously, servers, you're working directly with them, obviously doing scheduling and things like that. But you're also wanting to develop them, see if they're interested in moving up, meeting them, letting them be themselves, but just teaching them, giving them the tools that they need in order to be successful. And then currently, I moved from South Haven. I'm at the Bartlett store now, and I'm currently the kitchen manager there now. So what's great about Darden
We're gonna
is
wing
that
it
they'll
then.
rotate you between roles, so
Sorry.
you're going to be a better, well-rounded manager altogether, which is the awesome thing. So coming from a front of house person, which is what I've always been, I've come to find out that I like the culinary side almost as much as I like the front of house side. So it's very knowledgeable. Like I said, if at the end of the day,
I can just wing it.
everybody wants to be kind of their own entrepreneur for sure. But if you want to start out and you want to have a company that has all of the necessary equipment that you need, that's established, that's one of the best things about Darden. They have the tools. They've been around for a long time. We are the restaurant powerhouse for sure. So.
All right, cool. So we're going to wing it a little bit here. Thanks for that, Laura.
No
I
problem.
appreciate that. Laura really she does really well. I've been doing this for a long time, for almost 30 years, and going into a restaurant and seeing Laura's energy level, she really has a passion for the job. Her connection with people. I mean, ultimately in the restaurant business, we're in a people business. You've got to be able to read people very well. Got to pick up, I know it's get a little off the wall here, but vibes, making people feel very at ease with who they are and their own opinion and comfortable in their own being and whatnot. It's kind of there's an art to it. She's very good at it. She's going to be a great manager as well. This school, the education she received here, it's very obvious when she speaks at higher levels in front of SVPs, and she's been assessed to get to the next level, the managing partner level. It's very obvious that she's been educated as well, college educated when it comes to business. So, all right, thanks, Phil. I appreciate
No
it.
problem.
Talk about, I'm gonna talk Darden for a little bit. You guys feel free to interject too. at
And
any
Laura,
time.
please feel free to sit if you'd like.
I'll stand away over here. Jump in. if
Feel free,
necessary.
I'm very interruptible, because I don't want this to be completely boring for you, so some of this is chit chat. Darden is a Fortune 500 company, it's publicly traded. We have 8 restaurant brands now within Darden. It says we're about 1,800 restaurants right now, and we're right at about 200,000 team members, or employees in general. Our home office is out of Orlando, Florida. It's a $1 billion support center. Darden's been around since the mid-50s. Red Lobster was our first brand in Darden. Bill Darden was the founder to it. Recently, in the last 10 years, we sold Red Lobster. A lot of politics involved in publicly traded companies, activist investors, real estate investment trusts. So the bottom line is we sold out a brand, turned over our board of directors and CEO, and actually our company's doing very well since we did that. Part of our core values and culture: respecting, caring, integrity and fairness, diversity, teamwork, always learning, always teaching, excellence, and being of service. I don't think any company's going to write you a list of core values that say we lie, cheat, and steal. But I do, at the same time, feel very strongly about how we treat each other at Longhorn specifically. There's 8 brands beneath the company. How would you speak to Longhorn versus a different restaurant, let's say?
I would say it's the opportunity for the continuous improvement is and regular feedback. Those things are so huge. The opportunity to have that. I also feel like our certified trainers, the people that train you when you do come in, are very knowledgeable. They're even the 4 different learning styles. They're even taught to relate to people differently, and that to me is the best thing. But I like it because we function as a team. And reality of any restaurant, it will not work if you don't function as a team. Just remember, we all look good together and we all look bad together. And that's one of my favorite things about Longhorn is you're nothing just by yourself. You've got to have everybody in order to make it work.
Yeah, I think we're very, I don't use the word transparent, but I mean, at multiple levels. I'm the director. She'll be in a managing partner soon. So I've got about 600 direct and indirect reports. She'll have, I don't know, in your MP, maybe 70 or so. Being honest with each other and giving honest feedback is a very important part of Longhorn specifically. Olive Garden, Longhorn, Bahama Breeze, Seasons 52, Yard House, The Capitol Grill, and Eddie V's. And then we have recently acquired Cheddar's. Cheddar's has been on the struggle bus the last couple of years. We haven't been able to get it integrated in. Olive Garden, I don't think that there's any debate that Olive Garden, love it or hate it, is absolutely the most successful casual dining brand in the world. Like, it continues. They average about 4,400 guests a week. They're selling spaghetti and all you can eat, whatever, and it's in pop culture a lot. Olive Garden makes a lot of SNL skits, and it's very on the forefront of relevance in society, again, whether you love it or hate it. But they're busy, they're very profitable. We're selling spaghetti and meatballs for $15 a plate. You know, it's a very solid business model. Longhorn, founded in '81. We're just hit our 510th restaurant last week. Longhorn started in Atlanta. It was a struggling business, struggling independent restaurant. It was actually an adult bookstore they turned into a restaurant. And a guy named George McCarroll, and he was almost out of business. He was borrowing his dad's money, which happens a lot. And there was a snowstorm in Atlanta, and if you've ever been in the South, you know how it's been, and when it snows, and there's no salt trucks or whatnot, people freak out, they can't drive. So the restaurant got really busy on a night, and he put dollar drinks on a cheap marquee out front. So his restaurant got really busy that night, and one of the people that came to his restaurant was a writer for the Atlanta Journal. I couldn't tell you what newspaper it was, but the biggest newspaper in Atlanta. This was back when people read newspapers, so it's like 1980, 1981. And he wrote George McCarroll a very glowing review of Longhorn Steakhouse, that first location in Peachtree City. And then it just took off from there. He got the sales, built 5 restaurants, built 10 restaurants, and then you get money momentum, you get the cash flow going, you keep building.
Yeah, and if you happen to look it up, the culture has changed. It used to be very Roadhouse style, completely different, and it has definitely evolved over into a more family environment and atmosphere over time. So if you're curious about it, you should look it up. It's crazy the change that goes through there. So just something fun. If you're playing around on the internet, you'd like that.
Yeah, 20 years ago, we were more that Roadhouse style. You come in, hardwood floors, peanuts on the floor, stuff on the walls, stuffed animals on the walls and whatnot. It's gone to more of a rancher's house where there's lit framed paintings and carpeting and just more of an upscale feel. Now that alienates a lot of folks, because the number one reason that people go out to eat when they choose casual dining, what do you think it is when people choose where they go out to eat? What's that?
Save money.
Value, exactly. Exactly. Right now, the most popular steak with us for years, it's tangent here, has always been a ribeye. We hand cut a ribeyes or a filet. Right now, because of Outback and Texas Roadhouse, they push their sirloins so much that has kind of programmed casual dining eaters who are in that steakhouse sector of dining. So our number one selling steak now is a sirloin as well. It's kind of how it goes. Talk about Bahama Breeze a little bit. Bahama Breeze, they're at about 40 restaurants. I'm kind of shooting from the hip there, but it's give or take that. They're more of a higher volume. They take a lot of capital to open those things. They're very large. If you've ever been to, have you guys been to the one here? Yeah. What'd you think of it? Good. Okay. It's really known for its our alcohol percentage there is about 40%. We sell a significant amount of alcoholic drink, and it's huge. Get that Caribbean feel. Recently got a new president. Capitol Grill, 56. I think we're on 60 now. Those are very fine dining, and those have flourished with the benefits given to big business in the United States, where these casual, these corporate accounts and whatnot, they take their clients and whatnot out to a place like Capitol Grill, and they drop tons of money. So Capitol Grill's been on an unprecedented growth spurt over the past 5-6 years. Eddie V's, see another fine dining seafood. We've only got a few of those, but we did open another one recently. Yard House. Has everybody gone to Yard House? There's not one, is there a Yard House in Memphis? Not one yet, right?
There's not one.
We
now.
talked about building one.
I think Orlando may be the closest. Do we have them in Georgia?
Atlanta's got a Yard House,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, a Yard House like an upscale sports bar almost. It's got 500 miles of keg line is their big.
And
They
then-
have like a keg room with like, it's made of glass and it's,
And they sell beer by the yard.
yeah, and you can buy
Literally,
yards of
these
beer if
huge
that's what you're
yard
into.
glasses. It's pretty awesome.
So, and then we recently acquired Cheddar's. I get a lot of people who know the business ask me why we acquired Cheddar's. Cheddar's, their facilities are very nice, their buildings are very nice, very timeless. Their menu is value driven. Like and if you've ever worked at a Cheddar's, they do tremendous volume because of their price point. They do 6,200, 6,300 guests a week. And they do, their Cheddar Scratch Kitchen is what they're called. They're back there like making onion, like every order onion rings. If you ever order, go to Cheddar's, order some onion rings. They're only like $5. Everything's cheap there. And you'll get a plate of onion rings that is huge for $5. And all of it is hand done. None of it's pre-frozen bags. They're back there chopping onions and they take a string and they dip I don't know how they do it. I don't know how. I'll never work for Cheddar's, but they're a portfolio now. So Laura, if you would, why don't you walk us through kind of your path through how you came into Longhorn and the structure of it as far as MIT and stuff like that. Go through that piece of it.
All right. Well, for me, I started off as a team member there, obviously, and worked my way through into the management there. There's another way that you can do that as well. Also with your degree, you do not have to work from the company in order to come on as a manager. They will, obviously we encourage promoting from within. We want that 100% to develop our team. But they do also hire outside. We also work with Darden as well. We do offer management internships if something that you're interested in. I'll have to get you a little bit more details on that, but everything comes directly through them. You'll pretty much be paid as an hourly. There won't be a salary role there, but it's going to give you a little bit more in depth than being a team member. You're going to get to use some of the tools, some of the reports, see how everything looks, and read that way. Get a little bit more in depth than a team member would be. All right, so the culture of, we kind of discussed it earlier, but yeah, again, team member wise, you can work your way up that way, or go directly in, but they're all about development. If you're interested and you make it known that you're interested, they'll definitely make that happen for you. The culture itself, 99% of our GMs or managing partners are promoted from within the restaurant themselves. 30% of GMs and MPs started out as an hourly employee. So that shows the dedication and loyalty. Yeah, constantly growing. We just promoted somebody from our Carterville location who had been a team member as well. And she just finished her training program, and so now she's actually one of our managers in Carterville as well. We promote nearly 1,000 team members a year. Best thing about Darden is that you have so many opportunities. We are everywhere. Even California, where it is getting their first Longhorn this year.
Yeah,
right?
it's a couple years away. We've got to work out.
Vegas.
Doing business in California is
But it's, we're stretching. We're even in, how many countries are we in?
It's a great question. 6 or 7.
Yeah, 6 or 7 different countries. So there's opportunity everywhere, 100% that you can go all over the place. And then more than half of our hourly employees move into management and enjoy the, is that right? Yeah, more than half move into our manager and training program. So again, huge.
Right, half of our managers come from our PFW ranks. I'll tell you, PFW stands for promote. I've been doing this for almost 6 years as the director position for Darden. I am very into hiring the people that work for me that I know. I'm very much into having working relationships. I know somebody, I know what they're good at, what they're not good at, what the nuances of their personalities are, what development opportunities they need to be more successful. I mean, ultimately my job is to staff 9 restaurants right now. So I hire and I remove and I make sure that the businesses make money. she's, her next level is gonna be a managing partner. And managing partners they're the ones making schedules in the restaurants every day. They're in the business of running a restaurant. When you run a restaurant, you're hot food hot, cold food cold, bathrooms are clean, people are getting treated nice. At my level, you're in the business of running restaurants, where it's really more of a financial piece. Laura's more operations.
For sure, and I mean, it's exciting to have this opportunity. I've been a manager for 2 years with the company, and already, if you show the initiative, it's there. The opportunity is there. So, just 2 years of being a restaurant manager, going through all of our AORs. Yeah. So you have to go through each of those, be successful in those. But yeah, I mean, it's awesome. 2 years to go from being a restaurant manager and having the opportunity to get your own store. Again, I swear by it. The opportunity is there. It's 100% there.
Takes a
Great
lot of hard
company.
work.
Yeah.
There's night work, there's weekend work. Starting pay just to put this out here, my starting pay, and it depends, is somebody usually from the PFW ranks or a student. I don't ever start anybody less than a $50,000 base a year. That's below that's just unfair, I think. And then our bonus target at the RM level is $4,500 currently. There's employee stock purchase programs, 401k. You want those things. You want those things to build wealth. The managing partner level, the median pay right now is base is about $65,000. The bonus target's like 22, something like that. And then there's restricted stock that comes. We put people on a 5-year restricted stock. So you work for me for a year, based on your performance. Your target's $9,000 at the end of the year. I give you $9,000 in restricted stock. You won't. You can't exercise it for 5 years, which means it's the golden handcuff thing, where you want successful people, because the relationships in the restaurant industry are the most important. Like if I put somebody in charge of a restaurant, their relationships with the 50, 60 people that work for them, that trust there, is really powerful. You can't just turn over, like the managing partner position is way more important than my position, for the brand, or for any restaurant company. Whoever names on the door, or whoever makes the hiring and firing decisions within a restaurant sets the culture, sets the respect piece and the cleanliness standards, and the whole environment gets created by that one person. They have a heavy hand in making that. So it's very important that we keep those folks around. But that's really the target range. I'd like to see MPs make $90,000, $100,000, $110,000 a year, just to be clear.
Well, in the MP range too, you're a big part of the community as well. Next week, we're actually doing University of Memphis basketball team. We are catering to them, not something huge that we always do, but little things like that they do. If they contact you, you as an MP can make these things happen, but you want to be out there in the community, letting people know, giving out, free appetizer cards and things like that. Just people to know your face, like you are the face of the company. Your name is on the door. It is what it is. Your card is there. People will know your name, and people that appreciate you, that you actually spend time with, it makes a world of difference. Once you have that personal relationship with people, that's what keeps you going. That's what keeps your restaurant up and going, for sure. Obviously, there's other factors, but that's a huge thing. So when it comes to our team members, obviously we have several different areas. We've got bartenders, we have our service assistants that we talked a little bit about earlier, and then you have our heart of house as well, which is not, most people call it back of house. We call it the heart of the house. That's where the heart is, right? That's where all the food comes from. So that's what speaks to you. So we have our char grill, which is an open flame. We've got our flat top grill. Typically during the week, one cook works both of those. We've got our QB position, which is kind of setting your plates up and making the calls, letting them know what we need here. We've got our fry salad position as well, obviously our dish, and then all the different programs. So we want to once you're a team member, we want to get you trained as a certified trainer. Something that we try to do, at least do certified trainer meetings about once every 3 months or so, and continue that constant development. So our certified trainers do about It really varies, but they have to be tested every year. And when you're coming in as a team member as well, we do about 40 to 80 hours worth of training when you come in. And that's hands-on, working directly with your certified trainer. And also each day, typically about 5 days or so, depending on your role. But there's videos that help support, show you how to clean things. I mean, just to make sure it's all well-rounded. Test on menus, things like that. So we want to do it with you hands-on, and then we also want to give you the visual aids and resources that way too. So, so not only is training conducted for the specific job itself, company values and expected behaviors are woven in to reinforce how we treat our guests and how we treat other people. That's he asked about Longhorn, what sticks out to me. We care about our guests. That's what it is. We know that our guests drive everything. So they teach you how to communicate with your guests, get to know them, be on a personal level. Recognizing our guests by name is part of our rules. That's what we do. Recognizing our guests by name is exactly the way. Unexpected personal touches, something that we do, something little, whether it's a dessert, but talking to people, know what they're celebrating. We want to celebrate with them. That's what it's all about. All right, so some benefits of being a team member. Got into this a little bit, but competitive salary, kind of gave you a background on that. We've got medical vision, dental, life, short-term and long-term disability, dining discounts. So as a manager, you get 35% off.
Is that where it's at right now?
35% off at all Darden brands. As a team member, you get 25% off. So we eat well. There is no doubt about that. Paid vacation. I think when you come out, about 2 weeks. 2 weeks when you start.
2 weeks paid vacation.
2 weeks
After
of
5 years, it's 3 weeks. After 10 years, it's 4 weeks. After 15 years, it's 5 weeks paid vacation.
Well, and the nice thing is, hours-wise, our salary is based on, as far as us working, 50 hours a week. You get 2 days off a week, so you're not there 7 days a week. It's expected you work about 5 10-hour days. Obviously, sometimes it's shorter, sometimes it can be longer, but that's pretty much what you to be expected. About 50 hours a week overall is what you're looking at.
We do pay 6 days. If you have to work a 6th day, not salary, we'll pay your salary an extra day. There's no, I don't know another restaurant concept that does that. We don't like people to work more than 5 days a week. We mean it, we'll pay for it.
So flexible work schedules. Obviously you get 2 days off a week, so you can request off for those days without using your vacation time, as long as you got to make arrangements for it. Portable careers, again, over 1,500 restaurants all over, so transferring, we're everywhere. Transferring is 100% an option. So
yeah, at an RM level, if you want to work at Longhorn, you want to go work at Olive Garden because you want to move there for whatever reason, that happens all the time. We cross brands.
100%. So, and obviously it's career advancement, and we are a Fortune 500 company. So, what did you say our net worth on the way over here?
Last year we did $8.5 billion in sales. That's what we did as a company.
All right. So as far as training and the manager training program, which we call our MIT program, you typically do 8 to 12 weeks of training. They also cater it based on your experience. If you have moved up from a server position, obviously you wouldn't train as long as a server position. It would focus it primarily on your heart of house. It just depends on the concept of Darden, but typically 8 to 12 weeks is what you're looking at. Let's see here. There's 3 phases, including an overview of each employee and manager position. So there's classroom training and the support center. It's awesome. They put you up in a nice hotel in Orlando. They feed you every day. And you get to meet a lot of really cool people in the industry from all over the place, people that you can call on at any point. That's what's great about Darden as well. Everybody's accessible through email or phone. I mean, they will call, you can pick up the phone and they will be there. 100%. You have a question, they're gonna make that happen for you. Let's see here. So first you do that, obviously you're training inside the restaurant, and then you're working directly with your managing partner or your direct supervisor, whether it be Jason or, depending on which one you're going for. Constant communication, constant feedback, constant learning. That's what we're about. They're going to prepare we will prepare you the best we can for every situation, so. Let's see here. So, and all managers and general managers constantly, so each year we go, they send us to Houston and we kind of go over our goals to make sure that everybody's there and ready, so constant learning. They make sure that that happens, see what we're doing, inspire you to do it, so that's pretty great. I went backwards. So as far as vacation wise, we talked a little bit about that already. Dental and vision, the 401k savings plan completely matched up to 6%. So.
Actually, it's 25 to 150 based on earnings. So it averages right around 100%.
But yeah, so they have that, and then the discount stock purchase program, if you're into the stocks, it's 35% off stock.
15%, yeah, 15% fair market value at the beginning of the end of the quarter.
Yeah, but, and our stock is constantly moving forward, so thing about it, they want you vested in the company financially as well as, mentally and physically, so it's great, you're a part of it all together. So we are closed 2 days, which are Thanksgiving Day and Christmas Day. We want our team members and us, we all want to spend time with our family, so they make sure that happens for us as well. Also, and you get quarterly bonuses, and that's whether you are in a current AOR or a general manager or managing partner. They do come every quarter. It's fantastic. Nice extra bonus. Depends on your development in your store and how well your store is doing on all the members. There's a growth is the huge thing. You want to grow. And so we already talked about the dining discount, so. All right.
Cool.
Cool, any
I
questions?
appreciate that. Good. Thanks, man. Good job. What do you guys want to talk about? I'll open this up a little bit here. It's the rigmarole on the Darden. Longhorn is great. If you want to work at restaurants, you want to work for Longhorn. I've been private. I've been millions of dollars in debt. Being private, being an entrepreneur, because that's how it goes sometimes. Working for a company right now is a good idea. Working for a strong company that's been successful for a long time. But Longhorn specifically, some of the things that Laura mentioned we talked about. The other thing about Longhorn in general as a restaurant, it opens at 11 and it closes at 10 5 days a week. And except for on the weekend, we go from 11 to 11. And if you work in the restaurant business, I've there's restaurants stay open until 2. You know what I mean? That quality of life right there, it gets rough when you're working until 2, 3 in the morning. I don't know, what are you looking for in an employer right now? Is it quality of life or is it compensation? Go ahead, please.
I would say it's like the quality of service, and I know you all own like you said, Texas, Long House, Bahamas, Cheddars, but I want to understand is for you all to have upscale dining steakhouses as in like Capital Grill and Season 52, why don't you all implement the same service quality as you all would as if it was a Cheddars or like a Longhorn steakhouse? Because I work in an upscale dining industry and like they're very particular, like we can't even put the drink on the table a certain way if our arms like facing the customer, and then those same qualities I did not have that at other restaurants.
Yeah.
I can see in other restaurants still that even though you all still own and have the knowledge of an upscale
Why not, huh?
server, why not?
Why not? Why not put fine dining in Cheddars? That's a great, because Cheddars is notoriously bad service, right?
Like the open hand
Notoriously
service.
bad service. Wow, there's a lot to unpack there. It always starts with money.
I would say diversity. We want to cater to everybody, right? So Capital Grill is not, somewhere where I like to go because I don't want to spend that kind of money there. Yes, is it part of my Darden team? Well, I support it 100%. But me, I'm a little frugal and I like to be able to afford and, to go do something else after I leave the restaurant. So we want to be diverse within the company and outside the company. So that gives people options, Not everybody wants that high-end experience. They want that run-of-the-mill family experience that they can afford.
Yeah, and because you're asking why we have bad service. That's the way I see that question, which is good. No, I like that. Why would we have a concept where it's notoriously bad service? The business model, the guest counts, what those restaurants look like. When you run a Capital Grill, let's say a Capital Girl does $11 million a year. So these are numbers, and they could come off as excuses, but these are facts. And to Laura's point, there are, there's price points in that menu. You get a mac and cheese at Cheddar's, it's $2.99. You get a lobster mac and cheese at Capital Grill, it's probably $22.99 for a side, for a la carte. So we're building, and there's a lot less traffic flow. Guests coming through there is called traffic. Is the amount of human beings coming into your restaurant. A Capital Grill probably does 150, 200 guests a night, where Cheddar's can do like 1,500. It's just a whole different thing, but I'm with you. Why is it bad sometimes? I understand that. It's very hard. Our turnover is the root of all evil in retail and restaurants, hotels. Right now, let me go back to Longhorn. The industry in casual dining, the turnover number for team members, for hourly team members, is 130%, which means you turn over an entire staff and then 30% within a 12-month period. At Longhorn, our region is at 63% as of last month.
And our goal is 67?
67. So we have less than half the turnover. So what I'm telling you up here about the culture and the hours and stuff and this and that, like our numbers speak to that. My management turnover is bad actually right now. It's at 19%. The industry's at 38%. My region in Memphis and Jackson, Mississippi is at 19. So I run in my 9 restaurants with 36 active managers. I run half of what the industry norm is for management turnover. And that's not just me. I mean, that is our brand as well, the quality of life that goes with it.
I want to play devil's advocate to her question. My daughter works at Cheddar's here.
Okay.
And what I'm going to say is going to sound really bad, but to your point, when I hear her come home and she's talking about her tips, and even the management is having a hard time trying to troubleshoot, it's the demographic of the guest at times. Because you have to look at who can afford Cheddar's versus who can afford a Capital Grill. So sometimes even with the tipping, everybody doesn't have the mindset to tip. What an actual, exactly. So it doesn't justify their service quality, but it's just, I'm the catering director for Chick-fil-A. And so consider your service at Chick-fil-A versus a McDonald's.
Get better, right?
You know?
I think
So
Chick-fil-A is a marvelous
it's
job.
a catch-22 kind of. It does not excuse the service model, but it's kind of, and I love, Cheddar's has great food if y'all have never been there.
They do.
It's amazing. But even as a consumer, going in and sitting across the table, you may not, your experience is not going to be the same. And so.
We gotta fix the turnover at Cheddar's. The food's great. We fix the turnover and then service. People get better at anything they do with more repetition, and that's the problem. Cheddar's got like 130% turnover right now still. We have a tough time keeping service there because it's chaotic. It's busy.
They closed the Cheddar's out in
Winchester.
because I got hired there.
Okay.
And then turn around and closed the next day. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Cheddar's went through, right before we purchased them, they went through, like, they were on their way out. They were closing units and stuff, just like Logan's. Logan's is closed 22 units last year, and then Monday, a big capital group just picked up Logan's. They have the same people that own, they're called Brewmasters, they're out of Colorado. They have like, you guys ever heard of BJ's Brew House? Yeah, like same company, they just picked up Logan's, so, money.
One
Yes,
more
ma'am.
question,
Yeah,
sorry.
sure,
How
please.
much do you all pay your servers?
$213.
Okay, see, Benny Hunter, I used to work there
Mhm.
like a year ago, and we had a lot of problems with people want to quit. And it was people that were there for like years, maybe even decades, that wanted to quit because of the same problems, like she said, like the tips and stuff.
Sure.
So what we did was we wrote corporate, and corporate actually started paying us at dinner time, because that's when we get the most money. It's like $5 to $6 an hour, and
Good.
then for the people that work the morning shift, they actually started paying them $8 an hour, because the tips is really, really horrible,
Yeah.
because people checks is like
Really?
$20, $30, so they
They're
only
not
gonna
leaving
leave
money.
out $3, $4, $5.
I mean, you could speak to
Y'all
that. I mean, our servers
Look,
are
it's
a lot
going
what
to
they
be
do.
a
It's
constant
really well.
battle. I will tell you,
Well.
overall, yes, you're going to have the people that don't tip. Whether it's just they don't want to or they don't know any better, there still are those people that do not know any better, I promise. It all balances out. Realistically, you're gonna have a few bad tables. It's going to happen. It's the industry that we live in. You're going to have, if you're in a hotel, somebody's gonna come in grumpy, somebody's gonna be upset, and you're gonna have to fix it. And then, so I will say, I mean, it's about being positive with it, but all in all, it really does balance out. Those slow days where you have the time to spend more time with your guests and get to know them, it really does pay off in the end 100%. But it is a constant battle. I will tell you that we have people that leave for that reason as well. But I will also tell you that no matter where you go, you're gonna run into that problem. It's just a battle that we're facing
I
right
mean,
now.
money's money, but base pay adjustments, the end game is in selling. Being a good salesperson out on the floor, being a good server. Nobody sees a paycheck anymore on $213 or even $4, $5, $6 more. It all goes to the government. It is a cash game out there. We have servers that do really well. It's hard for me to promote people sometimes. I mean, Laura was a bartender. Laura was a very successful server. She probably did very well. I won't speculate your income.
Yeah, I did
But
very
you
well
did
as
as
a
well,
bartender.
if not better as a server bartender, even at $50,000, $60,000 a year. I mean, there's people out there that are full-time that are making a lot of money, but you've got to be good at it, because it is $2 an hour. You've got to be a good server, not just technically proficient. You have to have the technicality as well. It is that read on people. It really is. There's a certain, I've been doing it for 29 years. I've been a server, name it. I was never that good of a server. I didn't connect well on the service level to table. I had to make up for it with my technicality. What does that mean? Like your tea, if I waited on you, your tea was full, period. All the way through the meal. That was my standard, and that's how I did okay. Where somebody else could make mistakes, but they connected better and they'd make. Like, wow, good for you.
Yeah, something we say, connecting to convert. That's what it's about. You connect to the guest, you convert them to a loyal guest. They're not just there at that point. It's really all about the personalization and taking the time to connect to your guest. They're there for an experience. They're there to celebrate. And that's anything in the hospitality industry, right? So if you're working in a hotel, it's the same way. Those people are traveling. They're on vacation. That's what it's about. They want to talk to you. They're out. They're enjoying themselves. That's what they want.
Piece of magic. Friendship starts with first names. If you learn somebody's first name, it immediately is like a segue into a much stronger relationship, almost immediately in the hospitality business. Getting somebody's first name and them knowing your name, game changer. Not just for money, just the whole experience. What else? Who's working in restaurants right now? Is anybody? Where you working? Well, all right. So talk about it. Where you working at right now?
Alchemy in Midtown.
How is it?
I love it.
Are you bartender or serving?
I'm a server. I love it.
What's it look like? Are you guys open at night or day?
We're open every night. We're only open in the mornings on Sundays.
Okay.
We open up at 4 o'clock on the weekends. I mean, the bar stays open pretty late.
So to 2 or midnight or 2?
Our kitchen on the weekend closes at around midnight. We've been doing it around 11:30 more recently, but.
What's your favorite thing about working at Alchemy?
Probably like working so closely with the owner.
Is he or him or her? Are they
Hey,
doing
yeah.
it?
He's a great guy, and he's there pretty much every day.
He's grinding it out, huh?
Yeah.
I've been that guy. That's hard, man. That's so hard. Works in a corporate job. You got to live there. You want to be an entrepreneur? Get ready. 'Cause that's where you're hanging out at, no matter what you do. No matter what, have a great plan, have a great exit strategy, be capitalized, and be ready. I call it, when I open a restaurant, I call it going to prison for the first year. Like you literally, every moment of that day of your life is in. If you're not in your bed, you're in that restaurant. I was in a restaurant in the morning doing payroll, hiring people, making sauces, setting the line, ordering, receiving. It's very challenging. Who else is doing restaurants right now? Where are you working at?
I work at Flight downtown.
How is that?
I really love it. I've been there for almost 2 years now.
Good for you. I hear great things about that.
Oh, it's nothing. It's an amazing place. I thoroughly enjoy it.
So what's the concept Flight? What's that based
Um,
off of?
So instead of like one meal, you get 3 small different meals, so that way you don't have to pick just one thing. You can kind of have fun with it.
Does it come out on different plates? Is it like tapas? Is that a bad thing to say?
It's
Does everybody say that though?
Yeah, but it's not. I mean, it
Okay.
is, but we're not supposed to say that. It's just like, for example, we have a steak flight where you get like a normal filet, bison ribeye, and elk tenderloin. So you get like 3 small,
I gotta check
but
that
you can
out.
mix and match too.
Their dessert, they do dessert flights too.
And liquor flights.
You have tequila flights?
We do have one that's not on the menu anymore, but it's a Jose Cuervo flight, so there's like
I'm
3
not that
different.
judgy.
It's pretty good. You can have training wheels with it.
Do you mean room temperature? Who else is restaurant right now? Where are you working at?
Stony River.
Stony River, okay.
Yeah, the best thing about them is the attention to detail and the teamwork.
Okay.
And then this one brings everything together, so.
Attention to detail as far as all of it.
As far as all of it, like even, I don't know why, but I've been working there for 2 months and I just noticed like at nighttime, they dim the lights and it's dark everywhere. However, like the postings on the wall, you have a light that's flashing right to it. Every table, you have a light flashing right to it. The wine room, the decorations.
So you like the atmosphere a lot.
Yeah, like the detail.
And the lights raise the prices.
Yeah.
I hear you. Restaurant,
I work at the arcade.
the arcade, what is that?
It's Memphis's oldest family-owned restaurant in South Downtown. It's a brunch place.
Gotcha.
Down on South Main where Elvis used to hang out.
Really? Super old restaurant then.
Mm-hmm.
Hundreds of years, is that fair?
It'll turn 100 years old next year.
Wow. How are the facilities there? I can't imagine. how much
Lacking. They're
you
about
have
to expand.
You have to like put new baseboards and ceilings.
Yeah,
and
the bathrooms are
pipes.
really small and like not wheelchair accessible, and so they're actually, since they turn 100 years old next year, they're expanding. The family that owns the restaurant owns like that whole L of a block,
Wow.
and so they're expanding and like gonna update the facilities and stuff like that, and they hope to have it done by May.
What's the best thing on the menu? You have a house
Probably
special?
the sweet potato pancakes. They taste like cinnamon pancakes, but it's all right. It's just very old, very run down, so it's
You
just.
do well, is it busy? I bet it's a tourist hotspot.
It's busy all the time. That's how I make my money, just because the turnover is so high. We probably
Is it?
do, I probably have like 8 tables and I flip them probably like 20 times with it.
Are you training new people coming in?
They don't have a training like process at all.
Yeah.
It's kind of like learn as
Be
you go.
prepared for more
kinda-
turnover.
Yeah, so, it's kind of like filter, but the money's good, that's why I said.
Heard on that, yeah. Anybody else, restaurant right now? Where are you working at?
I work at a food and beverage place called Curbside Casseroles, and then I also work seasonally at Grecian Gourmet Taverna. I was on there, on South Main, it's a newer
What,
restaurant.
I'm sorry,
Grecian Gourmet Taverna. It's on South
Christian
Main.
Gourmet,
Grecian Gourmet.
Grecian Gourmet.
It's only
Okay.
been open about 9 months, but it's like a family-owned restaurant on South Main across from the Civil Rights Museum.
How's it
Very
doing
cool.
down there?
It's doing really well.
Really well?
They have, everyone that works there either is in the family or knows the family. So it's very tight.
It's a great family.
It's, yeah.
Sort of like my big fat Greek wedding, huh?
What's the best thing on the menu?
Oh, I have pastizza.
What is it?
Pastizza, it's like a,
Pastizzo?
it's like a Greek lasagna, but we like home, it's like got cinnamon, nutmeg, all sorts of stuff.
So it's got some different flavors in there. Ah, sounds good. I quit eating meat a year ago. I don't eat chicken, beef, or pork, so.
So you're a director of operations for Longhorn Steakhouse, and you don't eat meat.
Yeah. Turn off the camera. I mean, our meat is top shelf. Like it's either prime or choice, so it's the top 2 grades of red meat. Just direction. Where are you working at, man? Yeah.
For me,
Yeah.
well, it's not really a restaurant, it's a bowling alley, but
Okay.
I mean, they have a kitchen and stuff, so.
Are you cooking there?
No,
No.
I just like serve the food if like need be, but mainly I just kinda clean.
You're at Andy B's, aren't you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Seeing this dude, does he pour your pitchers?
He doesn't, so somebody else does, but I've seen him.
Adam, Adam, John,
Yeah, Adam's sister's my best friend, so,
oh, that's wild, small world.
yeah.
Do you guys, Laura's been here.
I love Andy B,
Forever.
I love it.
It's,
What's the best, is bar food, right?
I mean, it's just like, I don't know, I really like the wings.
Their
Wings,
Phillies are
okay.
pretty good
Super.
too.
And there's these things, it's called Jimmy Nug, the Jimmy Nug fries. They, I mean, it's like chicken crack. Like, it's not as good as Chick-fil-A, but I mean, it's right below.
It's pretty close. They're pretty amazing. I had
Jimmy
them.
Nugs?
Jimmy Nugs. I was curious. I
Are they
ate
tossed
them
in
last
sauce?
Saturday.
Yeah, they're
Actually.
like marinated in like pickle juice and some other, I don't know,
Okay.
the whole like everything, but it is
Yeah.
ridiculously good.
It sounds gross, but it really is good. The
It
hint
is.
of pickle is amazing.
Phenomenal.
Cool.
Have to go and try it.
Anybody else work in restaurants? I always like to hear people's stories.
I work for Levy Restaurants.
What is it?
Levy Restaurants, they recently took the word restaurants off and
Okay.
it left it at Levy's. But it's at the FedEx one. It's like, in a way, it's, they have a restaurant where it's like, I guess it's, what do you call it, high ballers? Like people with a lot of money they spend, it's like,
Like the VIP.
yeah, like, it's,
At the forum?
yeah.
You have to have like the season tickets
Yeah,
to
you
get
get
in and all
Or
Wow,
you can't,
okay.
you can't walk
For
past
Grizzlies
it.
games and whatnot?
Yeah, you can't walk past, you can't get in,
I've seen those, I've never been
can't
in.
do nothing.
Yeah.
But it's pretty, it's a fun atmosphere, I can say that. Because when they eat, it's like they face expression tell it all. And then they be like, well, maybe this still happen, I'm gonna go ahead and get another one. So they just eat and drink, but
Is it all you can eat?
no, it's not.
No.
Isn't that where you
Everything.
can drink that? Don't
What?
you not? Where you're talking about?
The defendant-
I haven't been in, but I heard that you can go in and like, it's basically like an open bar type situation.
No, in the theater box suite, it's like an open bar. Because
Okay.
all their beverages and food, it's like all you can eat in there, but if you don't have a ticket in there, you can't get in. So all their liquor they have to pay for, but wine and beer is complimentary, so they can drink 14 beers all day long
Hmm.
and eat as many
Sounds
plates.
like a lot.
Yeah,
14's a big number.
They're complimentary.
Yeah, exactly.
So-
It's being paid for.
Cool. Any other questions for me or Laura? Thoughts?
Can I interrupt with one thing?
Yeah,
I do have one question for our friend from Flight. You took over a restaurant in Germantown,
Southern Social.
and you're getting ready to do something in Third in Oberlin Square?
It's gonna be where Bar Louie was, and it's gonna be called Porch and Parlor. So I don't know as much about that. I think we're supposed to be open by like February.
Fortune Parlor.
It's supposed to be not. This is supposed to be us like taking it down a notch from the fine dining aspect.
What's your per person average on flight? If you have a table for two and I get a bottle of wine, let's say middle shelf bottle of wine.
It really depends because like when I go in, I can spend not a lot of money, get a discount. It's still like $150, $200. But I've had people come in and spend, $800 for just a guy and his wife because they get our $400 bottle of wine. It depends. Especially if you do more than one bottle, I mean, it's over.
Good for you. What's your uniform look like there?
It's just all blacks.
You have Easter apron, long
So the
apron?
servers wear aprons. I bartend and serve. So if you're not serving, you don't do that.
Right, understood. Cool, good for you, man, good for you.
What else have we got for our guests? Questions, observations, career advice, job opportunities.
What's the hardest part about being the regional director?
There's a level of accountability where I'm not critical to the business, where Laura is. At my level, there's more politics to it, and there's more disposable nature. I think there's 50 people want my job, where the supply demand on RM position or a managing partner position is less. But the most stressful, I went private for a long time, me personally, and when you go private, after you've been private, you take an SBA loan out with the government, do all that stuff, and you get deep, there's a level, you're swimming in deep water. And so a corporate job still has this level of stress, it never turns off, but it's not like that. In fact, most jobs these days, the cell phone has become such a tether where there's no escaping, even hourly level, you're still on group text with what's going on at work. When you're off, you'd be off for 2 weeks and you're like, know exactly what's going on because of your cell phone now. And that has become a very invasive thing for a lot of folks where the cell phone is just, my managing partners, my managers, I mean, how often do you get texts when you're on your day off, when you're not being paid?
Well, we discuss it twice a day, so we send in how many guests we go that day versus what we did last year, and then our labor hours per se, so we do that at 4 o'clock and 9 o'clock every day, so whether you're there or not, you get to know, you know how many people you did, you know if you were busy, you know if you had way too many people on the clock, or, not, but yeah.
But at
you
my
kind
level,
of-
I would say that the job never turns off. Like, I get calls all the time. Restaurants are open on the weekends, are open at night. It's pretty much a 24/7 job. You know, that's how it goes.
Let's hear it for our friends.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, folks.